On Killing a Tree by Jeev Patel.
We all know what cutting down a tree means. But what about killing a tree? An animal or a human being is killed, but seldom have we heard about killing a tree. The word killing actually highlights the fact that trees too are living things. This is a fact the human beings often forget. The poet in this poem speaks of man's violence and impatience towards nature. The poem is written in free verse. On Killing a Tree by Jeev Patel. The poet. Jeev Patel is primarily known as a poet, playwright, and painter. But we must not forget the fact that he is a practicing physician. Jeev Patel belongs to a group of writers who have subscribed themselves to the Green Movement, which is involved in an effort to protect the environment. Jeev Patel's poems speak of deep concern for nature and expose man's cruelty to it. Through his poems, he aims to sensitize the readers. Now let's read the poem. On Killing a Tree. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely, out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. In the first stanza, the poet says that a simple cut does not destroy a tree. It takes a long time to kill it. A sudden rough blow of the knife will do nothing to the tree because it has grown up strong by consuming the earth slowly. It grows up and rises from the crust of the earth, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water. In simple words, it takes nutrients from the soil to grow into a big tree, and from its discolored and uneven bark the branches and leaves come out. In the second stanza, the poet says that cutting the tree roughly by striking heavy blows and chopping won't do anything to the enormous tree. It will not feel any pain, and its bleeding bark will heal very soon. If we cut from the bottom, that is, from close to the ground, the curled green twigs will start growing with many branches coming out. If they are unchecked, then they will expand again to their normal size as they used to be earlier. In the beginning of the third stanza, the poet utters the word no, because just a small cut with a knife or chop with an axe will not harm a grown-up tree. Now, he explains the steps to kill a tree to the readers. He says that for killing a tree, firstly, the root has to be pulled out from its anchoring or holding earth, that is, its mother, whom the tree holds tightly and securely. He says that it has to be pulled out entirely or tied up with a rope and then chopped into pieces. And once a tree is separated from the earth cave, when the root, which is white and wet, which is the most sensitive and hidden part of the tree, is exposed out, then the tree loses its strength. In the last stanza, the poet says that once the tree has been uprooted, it gradually withers and dries up due to the sun and wind. It turns into brownish color, hardens up, twists, and finally sheds off its skin under different weather conditions. And then the process is over, now that the tree is killed completely and nothing is left. Now let's read the summary of the poem given in your textbook. The present poem posits a scathing attack upon the human action of reckless cutting down of trees. The poem is a lyric where Patel raises an angry voice against deforestation. The poet considers the cutting down of a tree to be a violent ritual. He looks upon the felling of a tree as a murder. It is a murder which is heinous in the slow drawing out of the action. The poet casts a pathetic glance at the growing up of a tree by deriving nourishment from the land and the sky. The poet thinks that human beings harbor an intense dislike for a full-grown tree. Therefore, a tree is cut in a cruel process that reflects the merciless mood of the cutter. The poet says destruction of the tree is not complete by the mere felling of it. The tree is removed from its place of birth by vengefully uprooting it and leaving the stump to wither. So, we can conclude that the poet Jeev Patel describes the cruelty of man in killing or destroying the tree with irony and conveys a message that trees are an essential and integral part of our life, and so we should not cut them. Thus, he sympathizes with the tree and nature in general as it is being destroyed day by day by selfish humans.